I think tattoos are cool because they can be very personal and they mean something different for everyone.
My name is Elka Quinn. I'm 21 years old, and these are my tattoos.
My name is Ija. I am 25 years old. I have a tattoo as X.
My name is Christopher. I'm 24 years old. I'm a painter.
I'm Calvin, and I'm 21 years old. I have 2 tattoos.
My name is Andria, and I'm 23 years old.
My name is Alex Bose. I'm 29 years old. I have a tattoo of an ice hockey rink diagram and a representation of a hockey player on my left calf.
My name is Christopher. I'm 24 years old. I'm a painter. I've always wanted to have a tattoo. One day I was hanging out with a friend in his living room, and he asked me if I wanted a tattoo. I said I've thought about it a lot, but I never decided. And he asked me when it would happen. Well, I said anytime, and he said, how about right now? And I was like, yeah, okay. And so then he brought out his tattoo gun, and I had to think quickly about a design. And I came up with a little design for a paint tube. I chose paint tube over like a paintbrush or something else related to painting because a paint tube has potential energy. And that's like an idea, you know, it's like a seed that can be planted and grow into something else. The decision to get the tattoo is pretty spontaneous. I didn't plan the design beforehand. I guess I did for half an hour, maybe 15 minutes. The things that really came to mind were things that were important to me, foremost being painting and art, and I knew I wouldn't regret having something that symbolized that, you know, permanently on my body forever.
I'm Calvin, and I'm 21 years old. I currently have 2 tattoos. The first one I got was the 5 of Cups from the Rider-Waite tarot deck, which historically is kind of the epitome of tarot decks. A lot of the imagery you'll see in modern tarot decks were taken from that one, and a lot of the imagery that you'll see if you look into tarot is from the Rider-Waite deck. It was my first one, and like for a while I was thinking about what I could get as my first tattoo, and like they always hype it up and be like, oh, you have to get something that's super important to you. But this one I really only thought about for like a week before I went and got it, and I haven't regretted it at all. Within tarot, the 5 of Cups represents loss or missed opportunity, but I didn't really get it for the meaning specifically. I'm really more interested in tattoos that act as accessories for the body and kind of enhance a person's overall appearance. I just think that designs and like illustrations and other imagery that I'm attracted to right now will hold up better 10 years from now than something that I hold very like personally to me. When thinking about what tattoos to get and whatever, I'm really only interested in getting tattoos that are black line work primarily, partially because it suits my interests as an artist, and also because I never really have to worry about them matching an outfit.
My name is Ija. I am 25 years old. I have a tattoo as X. X stands for something unknown. I took this tattoo when I started live by myself 2 years ago. I just had the freedom I need. I do not have to eat at certain times or come back home early. I started to be independent. So at the beginning, everything was so exciting, and I just tried everything I want to do. That's also why this tattoo. My parents didn't want me to do it, but I made it. It stands for freedom. X is the initial letter of my girlfriend's name. She was with me when I took the tattoo. She encouraged me to do it. Her name is Xin. In Chinese, it means spicy.
On the day we played the place alone, but you don't really care for music, do ya? My name is Elko Quinn. I'm 21 years old, and these are my tattoos. The first one is a handprint. It's from Supernatural. In season 4, one of the characters is pulled from hell by an angel, and because of the angel's grace, he has a permanent imprint of the hand on his shoulder to show where he was grabbed and pulled out. I got it because when I was just under 16, from about the time that I was 12, I was suicidal, and I just didn't want to be in this world anymore. I didn't think I belonged. I didn't have anywhere to go. And when I got older, I realized that because of the friends I'd made in the Supernatural fandom and also other fandoms, that I finally had found my home, and I finally had found people that, if I had committed suicide, that A, I never would have met, and B, now they actually cared if I did. And I wanted to remind myself, hey, I've been to hell, I've been through everything, and I don't have to go back. This one is the TARDIS. It's from Doctor Who. TARDIS stands for Time and Relative Dimensions in Space. It's basically a time machine, but you can also go to any planet you want to, any time you want to. And it helps me remember that with everything that's happened in my life, I can look back and I can look at the good things, and I don't have to focus on the bad things. Example of that is my dad's the one that got me into Doctor Who. So this tattoo is kind of a memorial to him, because he and I've had a falling out recently, and we haven't talked in a few years. And for the first about year or two, I had a real issue talking about my dad, because everything that I thought, was a good memory, it just felt bad because of what had recently happened. And then I realized that I didn't have to focus on all of the bad things. I could talk about the good stories from my childhood and, learning how to drive and whatnot. And I didn't have to focus on the bad things that had happened in the last couple of years of our relationship. And it also helps me remember that everybody's important, whether we realize it or not.
I made my tattoo when I was 18 years old, and I made it back in my hometown in Limassol. I have a dream catcher on my skin. I connect it to nature. I feel connected to nature in a deep way. When I'm into the wild, I dream every night, and that's where my subconscious is free to live. I believe in dreams because it is like taking a picture of your inner world. It's more of a subconscious and spiritual level. Everything can happen in a dream. I have always been fascinated by the Native American culture, their ideologies, and their deep connection with nature. Their lifestyle reflects their love of nature. That's why I chose to have a dream catcher on my skin.
Hockey has been a big part of my life. I've played since I was around 6 or 7 years old, all the way into high school, when I stopped for a while because it became less cool. I grew up in Iowa, a small town where hockey was a low-level sport. And since I've grown up and moved to Minnesota, where hockey is a much bigger sport, I got back into it. The rink represents my playing of hockey, and the player represents my love of the game professionally. I got the rink shortly after my father and I took a trip to Finland to see the Minnesota Wild play the Carolina Hurricanes. My dad's always been there with me for hockey. He taught me how to skate. He took me to every practice, every game. Hockey, for me, is a big stress relief. I guess the best way to describe it is when you're on the ice, you hear things differently because you're surrounded by glass and boards and frozen water. It's cold, but you're hot because you're exercising. So it's like a cool breeze on your face, but you're also being really physical and active. I guess it'd be kind of like if you ran a lot during the winter. A lot of it, too, is it's a lot of fun because it's a very great way to meet people, and it's a great way for me to make friends. In hockey, there's 5 players and a goalie, so 6 people on your team. So you get to know these people really well. And it's weirdly sort of romantic, I guess you could say. And I don't know, it just feels good to, you score a goal or you're part of a team that's winning. It always feels good for that.
I think tattoos are cool because they can be very personal and they mean something different for everyone. I have a tattoo of a bee because I think they have a lot of meaning. They are pollinators, so they're really important to the ecosystem. Another reason I like them is that they're beautiful and small. People don't usually pay attention to the little things. On the other hand, bees stop and smell the flowers. They take their time. That's their life. They just land on flowers. It sounds fun.